everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Taurus. And before we do that, hang on, let me just remind you guys, I'm giving away this Spirit Animal Oracle deck. Now, if you have let me know that you're interested in this deck, I will be announcing the winner, I believe tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow, or Monday at the latest. So please make sure your bell notifications are on, so when I announce the winner, you will be notified and you can go ahead and send me your details, email me your address so that I can actually ship this beautiful deck out to you. All right, I'm going to give the winner a day or two to respond, and if they don't respond, then I'll be on to the next person that I pick. All right, and the pick is at random, so there you go. That's all there is to it, right? All right, Taurus, let's get right into your weekly. This is going to be for December 22nd to the 28th. And if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by Bow and Arrow Tarot. And the way we do the weeklies is I'm going to pull out 3 romance angel messages. Then we're going to pull out your 3 animal spirits from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And then we'll get into your traditional spread. All right? So straight out, we have stay optimistic about your love life, Taurus. This has been coming out over and over and over for you. You deserve love. This is another one that's been coming out for you for the weeklies and the monthlies. And we have soulmate. Again, this almost seems to be the exact same cards that has been coming out for you all month. Do check the previous readings if you like. Cross watchers, you'll recognize it. Before we know what that exactly means for you, Taurus, let's pull out your animal spirits, right? Now, animal spirits can represent stages in your life you're entering into. They can represent energies that are becoming available to you. Or they can represent characteristics and personality types of people that you may or may not be dealing with, all right? So let's get right into it. What's going on for our lovely Taurus this week? We want to know what kind of animal spirits they may or may not be walking with. Show me. Now, of course, if it applies, that's great. But if it doesn't apply to you, just let it go. We know this reading can't be for all Taurus. I myself am a Sagittarius, but I have a Taurus rising. So please check the placements of your other planets in your chart as well. Dragon. Beautiful. Animal spirit associated with the alchemical element of ether or spirit is associated with the 3rd chakra, the solar plexus. Another one, the golden egg, associated with the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra, Taurus. And we have the lizard, fire animal, fire element, right? Wow. All right. So, Taurus. Very, very significant, right? When we're looking at chakra animal spirits, these are very strong. So let's take a look at the dragon. First and foremost, the dragon is associated with the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus is that little area right below your rib cage in the front of your body, right? It's that little soft sort of tympani. It's like a drum, almost a drum skin that just hangs there. It's where we connect our breath to our sort of our life force, right? If you've ever been winded before, that means the solar plexus area has been damaged or knocked in some way, and the breath comes right out, right? And we literally lose our breath. We can't move. You know, so the solar plexus is a very important chakra point in our body, and the dragon talks about being ever watchful, being sure and watchful to make sure that you are following your true purpose. You're following your true path in life. It's literally the eye of your spirit or soul that is attached through the solar plexus to the winds of our body. The Tibetans talk about the inner winds and the outer winds, right? We have 6 winds, 3 outer, 3 inner. And these are layers of sort of breath in our body that add to our life force. And so the dragon is ever watchful that we are being consistent, you know, with what drives us in our lives, right? We are being true to our nature, true to what our soul wants for us, right? almost like true to the breath that we breathe in a way. You can imagine a dragon breath is that fiery breath. And it's the same way with us and with humans in life. You know, it's our breath that moves us, that keeps us going, that keeps us alive, and keeps us moving forward in this lifetime. Now, the golden egg is associated with the heart chakra. And of course, the golden egg represents the warmth that is necessary to open up this chakra to allow us to be able to communicate effectively our feelings, right? The feelings that we have in our heart, right? You know, so the golden egg, you know, that golden color talks to sort of the need for warmth, stability, right? Sensitivity, you know, engaging and exchanging our feelings with others, you know, done in a wholesome way, in a loving way, in a very warm way, nurturing, right? So you're opening up your heart chakra, Taurus. Some of you, certainly, if you're feeling, you know, do you deserve love is all about opening up your heart chakra in a sense that, you know, when we allow our heart chakra to open, it's because we know we deserve love and we know we want to give love regardless of whatever pain we may have been through. It's very, very good, very healing. Now the lizard, fire elemental, right? And the lizard is associated with extrasensory perception. This can be clairvoyance, auditory, or telepathy in a way, right? Seeing things before they happen, hearing things before they happen. But what can happen with the lizard is that sometimes it becomes overstimulated. There's too much information going on. If you ever see a lizard in a desert, it's like they're moving around. It's like you don't know why they're making the decisions to move, where they're going, because we don't see it, but it seems like the lizard is always noticing something, perceiving something, right? But sometimes they can get certainly overworked, overstimulated, and overheated in that way, right? And then oftentimes what happens is that they have no idea where they're going, right? They lose focus. So just take care. This could be a period in your life, Taurus, where you just have a lot of information coming in right now. You may be having a lot of sort of, your extrasensory perceptions may be a little bit heightened right now. And so take care, because when those senses are heightened, we need to be extra careful to remain grounded, right? So that we don't believe that every single thing that we're hearing and seeing is some kind of message. You can really get lost in that chaos sometimes, believing that everything you hear is an omen, everything you see is some kind of message from the beyond. It can get to a chaotic point where you begin to not make any sense. There is no focus. There is no real sort of intention there. And you just have to be very careful. When this happens, pull away. Take some time off. You know, cool yourself down. Cool the amount of information that's coming into you down. Just, you know, cut off all of that, you know, extra data that's coming in. And take a moment to ground yourself, right? And to come out of that sort of heated mode. All right, my lovely Taurus, very, very serious sort of animal spirits, really. You know, when we talk about chakra spirits, we're talking about really fundamental energies coming available to you. Let's see what this week holds. And again, these the weekly readings may or may not resonate with you. Just take what applies to you, Taurus. You know, we know that this can't be for all Tauruses out there. All right, so show me what's going on for our lovely Taurus this December 22nd to the 28th. We want to get a clear, clean, focused message in these forecasts. All right, let's pull your first one out. Straight out, we have the Hermit, Three of Swords, oof, and the Ten of Wands. All right, so some of you are coming in this week, Taurus. You've been walking a real solitary path. You may have pulled away from a lot of people, a lot of, you know, a lot of your social circle to really be on your own, to work on your own. You're coming into this week with a Three of Swords. Someone has hurt you, right? And I think that this hurt, this Three of Swords pain, probably happened in the most recent past. Somebody, it's their words or their actions have really hurt you. Three of Swords is oftentimes interpreted as third-party energy, right? But oftentimes what I realize, and what you should realize is that Three of Swords is a swords card, not a cup card. And I think that people inadvertently interpret this as a cup card a lot of times, which it isn't, you know. The essence of Three of Swords, 3 is the number for bonding and loyalty, right? With the Three of Swords, we find that that bond or that loyalty has been broken in some way, right? Has been sort of, that trust has been broken by someone's actions or words, because swords are associated with communication, the mind, and action, our ego, right? Definitely associated with our ego. Now, when somebody lies to us in a certain way, or when they break the trust or the bond or the loyalty that we've established, this is a blow to our ego, and this is what this represents. Now, of course, the most grossly simplified version of that is when somebody cheats on us, right? But that's kind of, you know, that's just one sort of example. You know, this Three of Swords can represent someone who's just hurt you with their words, right? Someone who has really sort of betrayed you with the way they speak to you. An example could be someone who tells you that they love you all the time, but they treat you badly. They always treat you poorly, or they always disrespect you, or they're always lying to you, right? This could be a sense of betrayal. Or someone who tells you they love you and then they are sleeping with other people. There you have your third party energy. This could be someone who is abusive, verbally or emotionally abusive to you. In any case, something like this happened and it really hurt your heart. And I think this is one of the reasons you pulled away. You got into your hermit energy most recently, Taurus. But this week, interestingly enough, you come back, perhaps you go out, you socialize a little bit more. Maybe you're going out for the Christmas season. Coming out of this hermit a little bit, you're met with this Three of Swords. I'm going to say you probably come up against this individual, or you run into this individual again, and something becomes known to you, almost like lizard energy. You glean some extra information from this situation that allows you to round the week off with a 10 of Wands, which is a complete laying down of any baggage or leftover burdens you had. So for instance, an example could be that perhaps somebody really hurt you, or you were in a relationship most recently where somebody lied to you, or they spoke to you in some disrespectful way. You realized it was time to break away. And then this week you run into them again and you see them. And the way you see them, or some information that becomes available to you about them, makes you realize that you're completely over it, right? You lay down whatever leftover baggage you had, whatever leftover pain you had from this situation that may have caused you to pull away. This week, you find out the totality of it, and you round off with the like, oh man, I'm just laying all of this down because I'm so over it. 10 of Wands talks about a completion. Talks about coming to a stage in your life where you are done carrying any responsibility or any burden for a bad time or a bad stage. You're done carrying any of the leftover baggage that may have been associated with this relationship. You're just done. And you lay it down. I think you're going to come out of this week much stronger. Judgment. Lovers. Tower. Wow. Okay, so Judgment comes in. Some of you are coming into this week with a reevaluation, right? You feel like perhaps a certain situation, I'm going to say a love situation that you were involved with, perhaps you're starting to see it from different sides. It could be that you rushed to judgment in a certain area. And this week's interesting. You kind of feel as though you're feeling a little bit more empathy coming in for the other people that were involved. You're feeling like maybe you were a little overcritical, right? Judgment can indicate a sense of wanting to reconcile, right? Either from you or for another party. In any case, it's an understanding that comes in that kind of loosens our severity, right? Loosens our sort of our judgmentality a little bit of a situation, right? Begin to say, well, maybe I was a bit too harsh, or maybe I jumped to a conclusion. In any case, the spirit of sort of understanding and possible reconciliation is how you enter this week. And you're met with the Lover. So you come up against someone, I think, that you had this sort of situation with, right? Someone, a love connection that was very sort of testy, very difficult, where there were a lot of contradictions, right? Because this is Lovers is associated with. It is also associated with Gemini energy. But it's this feeling of, you know, with the Lovers card, we understand that in order for any true love union to work, both parties have to really be engaged with each other. They have to understand that You know, just because they're two halves of a whole, both halves are going to be different. And there needs to be a certain level of work and respect involved, right? You have to be willing to work at any kind of union, right? And the other person has to be willing to work with you to the same degree, right? And so this strong union, perhaps, that you have been involved in, you meet this person again, perhaps the falling out or whatever that happened before. You run up against this person. You run up against the same exact sort of dynamic that you had with them before. It's like it kicks right back into that. You know, it's like when you are, you know, you see an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, and when you see them, it's like you guys get right back into the same sort of dynamic that you had with each other before, and you round the week off with a Tower moment. Now, this Tower moment it's interesting because the Tower moment can represent a lot of things here, because you come into this week with this more deeper, I'm going to say this deeper understanding perhaps of what went on, right? And perhaps running into this sort of, you know, being met with this lover's energy. It could be that some of you are trying to sort of have that reconciliation again as a result of the change of heart that you're having here, but yet you still round the week off with a Tower moment. I think there's an understanding that comes in. Either way, it'll either be the Tower moment in the sense that you realize that this just isn't going to be fixable when you thought it was, or when you thought it wasn't fixable, you realize it is. In either case, there's going to be something that happens this week that really sort of like changes your whole outlook on this, right? Changes your whole outlook on this connection and your part that you play in terms of, you know, how you see the connection and whatever energy you've put towards either reconciling or refusing to reconcile. In either case, I'm going to say for some of you, Taurus, this love connection is going to surprise the hell out of you this week. And it'll either be, whichever way, it'll be a huge change. But it, you know, I can't tell just yet if you're going to, if the Tower moment means you come together with them, or if you're going to learn something else from this situation. Because although you come into the week with this feeling of reconciliation, right? You know, it takes two to tango, right? And I think that for some of you, as much as you feel like perhaps this situation can be fixed, I'm going to err on the side that you come into this week and realize that it's not about reconciliation at all. It's not about how you approach the situation. I think this week you may find out that there was just no way to ever reconcile with this person because they weren't necessarily willing to meet you halfway. The other flip side, like I said, it could be that for a certain situation where you have given up on a chance of reconciliation, where you finally accepted the fact that perhaps things were never going to be fixed, somebody may very pleasantly surprise you, and again, you still have your Tower moment. Seven of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and Page of Wands. So Seven of Pentacles talks about reevaluating your rewards, your garden, the fruits of your labor. You've been working very hard, Taurus, to achieve something, and this week you kind of, the rewards start to come in and you're able to start to really look and say, is this what I want? Is this what I've always wanted? You know, it's a feeling of sort of like, okay, now I finally get to see, you know, when and where and how, you know, all of my work has accumulated, what it's amounted to, and is it still what I want? Sometimes when we work to a particular goal, the working towards that goal kind of changes us. And so by the time the fruits of our labor come in, we realize that that goal is not something we want anymore. We've changed, right? We've changed. It's like the gardener has been working on his garden, and through gardening, he's actually changed he's changed his outlook on the type of garden he wants. And in any case, you're being very reflective this week, and you're coming into this week with this energy. You're met with a Four of Wands. It's a feeling of sort of a soulmate energy coming to you. Four of Wands is the 1111 card, but it's also Venus and Aries energy. So it's the beginning of a new relationship. It can be the beginning of a new, stable, solid soulmate connection. Some of you, Taurus, are coming into this week. Something new, right? And you round the week off with a Page of Wands. And Page of Wands is a really enthusiastic, fearless sort of attitude. And I think it's coming because of The rewards that are coming in that you're able to finally look at and see for what they are and say to yourself, am I happy or not? And some of you are going to be extremely happy with the rewards coming in. You know, you're finally going to be able to take a rest and say, oh, yeah, this is what I wanted. Thank you. And then on top of it, this new love connection comes in for you. And so, of course, you round this week off with this sense of youthfulness, fearlessness. Page of Wands is very idealistic, and I think that a lot of these two energies for you this week are going to really kind of boost your sense of self-esteem and confidence. Going to boost your feeling of following your heart with that heart chakra golden egg, following your purpose in life with the dragon. Page of Wands is a very sort of highly creative card, and it's a card of overcoming fear. And I think for some of you, the Seven of Pentacles and the Four of Wands is going to be a reaffirmation that you are where you want to be, and that everything you've been working towards so far has been worth it. And it's really going to sort of increase your fearlessness, right? So where you were idealistic before and where perhaps you were following your heart and nobody else necessarily believed in it, by the end of this week, some of you Taurus are going to be going even stronger towards that, because life is showing you that all the good things are coming to those who grab life by the reins and are fearless about it. Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, and Three of Wands. Some of you definitely had a power struggle with someone that left you paying the price financially. That's what Five of Pentacles is all about. It's when we have a power struggle, and not only are we sort of going through a separation from a union or being in a group, the group has ousted you in some way, or you've been separated or divided, but you also are left paying a bit of a financial price because of it. Oftentimes, the Five of Pentacles puts you in a position where you have to work yourself back up and out of a tricky situation. Perhaps a situation that, you know, as a result of this split, you know, it could, an example could be if you're living with someone, you live with roommates, you guys have a power struggle, and suddenly you have to move, or they have to move, and that puts you in a financial bind, and you find yourself having to sort of work your way back out of this financial hole. And you're met with a Six of Pentacles. Someone is there this week who wants to help you. Okay, for some of you who are going through this right now. And Five of Pentacles is very much a 2 steps back or 5 steps forward. So oftentimes when you're in this situation, it's kind of a reset. And although it feels like very difficult from the beginning, right? It may feel very difficult, like, oh shit, you know, now I have to go through all of this again, you know, as a result of trusting these people, right? Oftentimes it makes way for you to have even further progress than you would have had you stayed in that power dynamic. So it's really a real obstacle clear, even though it does set you back. But this week you come across the Six of Pentacles, which is someone who is there to help you, who really wants to sort of aid you in some way financially, or help you in this bind. And Six of Pentacles is also sort of this, it's a giving, the understanding of giving and receiving. You know, sometimes we have to understand when to accept help, and sometimes we have to be willing to give help as well, right? And this is the nature of this card. And I think, Taurus, for some of you, you will have to sort of, you know, decide this week, you know, are you willing to accept help? You know, sometimes, you know, we have to humble ourselves to swallow our pride. Certainly if someone is there who wants to help you, you know, be ready to receive that, you know, because it's only going to help you understand later on that when you are up, you know, there are people in your lives that you may be able to help too. You know, you have to be in the opposite situation sometimes to understand, you know, the nature of it, right? And so someone, a friend or someone close to you comes in who really wants to help you out through this. And I think for some of you, you're going to accept it. You round the week off with a Three of Wands. And Three of Wands is having patience. I think for some of you, you know, by the end of the week, you realize that you may need to have some patience and allow this situation to slowly develop, right? Take the help that you can get from someone who's close to you, who genuinely cares for you and can help you right now in the short term. And be patient, because Three of Wands often talks about life slowing down to make room for something else to come in. Whether it's a new love, a new job, a new opportunity, whatever the case may be, before we step out and make another move towards our goals, take a look at the lay of the land, you know, and you're kind of, whether, you know, you want to or not, life is kind of forcing you to pause, you know, to wait a moment, right? Because something very important needs to be either found out, heard, or someone important needs to have time to come into your life. There's some kind of important thing or event that needs to occur. And the only way that it can occur and come in is for you to stand still for a moment and allow it time to come in. Queen of Cups, King of Wands, and the High Priestess. Some of you are coming into this week being very, very receptive with your feelings. Queen of Cups is definitely heart chakra wide open. Okay, you're ready to exchange your cup of love. And the Queen of Cups is a very emotionally healthy individual. She doesn't care about, you know, she may have been hurt in the past, but she doesn't allow that to affect who she is. She's so emotionally healthy that even if she has been hurt, it doesn't devastate her whole life. Oh my God, I was hurt. I can't get out of bed. Oh my God, I was hurt. I can never love again. You know, she understands the nature of life. Sometimes in life, we're hurt. Everyone gets hurt. You know, it shouldn't cripple you. It shouldn't emotionally, being hurt by someone should not emotionally cripple you, right? And that's what the Queen of Cups is all about. And so, Taurus, you have this energy this week, very strong. You're ready to sort of like exchange your cup of love with someone. You know what your feelings are. You're not afraid to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable oftentimes is the first step to the law of attraction, allowing yourself to open up. Allowing yourself to be able to express your feelings to others and allowing them in. You come across a King of Wands. Very fiery individual, very idealistic individual, someone who has their eye firmly on you, Taurus. And by the end of the week, you kind of round off with a High Priestess. I'm going to say for some of you, you're coming to contact with somebody that you have been in love with for quite some time, or you've had a feeling that there is a good connection there. Maybe even a soulmate connection. And by the end of the week, you round off with a high level of confidence. High Priestess is the highest card, one of the highest cards in the deck for self-confidence and intuitive ability. But following your intuitive voice requires self-confidence. And so intuition and self-confidence go hand to hand, right? Go hand in hand. Increasing your intuitive ability goes hand in hand with increasing your self-confidence. And by the end of the week, it's funny because some of you Taurus knew this was going to happen. And it's just a reaffirmation that you were right all along. And that reaffirmation makes your self-confidence sort of soar. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pull one more, Taurus, and then we'll call it. One more forecast for the week. Show me what's going on for Taurus this week. We want one more. Four of Swords, Queen of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. All right, so some of you coming in this week with a feeling of really strategizing and taking your time to plan your next step. You want to maintain the stability that you've achieved so far, and so you're being very careful. You know, Four of Swords talks about being so grateful to live to fight another day. And so in a lot of ways, Four of Swords is when we are not only grateful for the stability that we've achieved so far, but out of respect for everything that we've achieved so far, we're very careful about the next moves we make, right? You're coming across the Queen of Swords energy, which is this feeling of really wanting to let down any masks or any games or roles that people play or that perhaps you've played. Queen of Swords is all about being extremely honest with who she is, right? She beckons you to come, she beckons you to show her your true self. Because she's showing you her true self. She has no airs, she plays no games. This is something that she's worked very hard for. So she won't tolerate anybody in her court, as it were, being a phony or being fake. And so this is the nature of her sword of truth and her beckoning. She requires you to bring your true self to the table. And this is the real energy that you come into this week with. And I think this is part of your sort of next move. Is this understanding that you can only be who you truly are to achieve what you want. Very much dragon energy. You round the week off with a Knight of Cups. And I'm going to say for some of you, as a result of the way you've been carrying yourself and sort of this no-nonsense attitude that you're bringing and you're meeting with this week, someone is coming into you and wants to exchange their cup of love with you. You know, somebody wants to let you know that they're interested, you know, and a lot of this is because of the fact that you're coming into this week so hard with this Queen of Swords in the sense that you are not pretending. Like I said, you are really showing who you are, and who you are is so beautiful that you're calling in this individual who very, very much wants to make your acquaintance, very much wants to come towards you with their cup of love. Take care, though. Knight of Cups can be kind of flighty. They're not always sure of their feelings. Nevertheless, stay optimistic. You deserve love, and this could just, if anything, this could just be a very nice romantic liaison for a little while. Until we come into the new year. All right, guys, this is your reading, December 22nd to the 28th. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave me a comment. Don't forget, if you are in the running for the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, to leave on your notification or to check back in a couple of days. I will be announcing by video the winner's name, and I'll be needing you to go ahead and submit your address to me via email so that I can ship that beautiful oracle deck out to you. All right, my guys, thank you so much for checking me out, and I shall see you next week for the final weekly of 2019. Bye-bye, Taurus.